Ronnie Blakey joined by Ross Williams and Strider Wozalewski. Gentlemen, I mean, what an event. The final, well, it was a bit of a fizzer, to be honest. No huge scores locked in, but two very worthy competitors in that last heat of the comp.
That was funny. Michel said it too, right? But what can you do? Mother Nature just went really calm. So he did the best at adjusting. He had that little 5 to start with, but you know, overall the waves were so perfect today. Strider really nice out there with that wind.
Oh, it was gorgeous. You know, it was unfortunate, like you said, Ronnie. The swell kind of died out. We didn't get that, you know, shebang finish we were looking for. We thought maybe because it laid down for so long during the break we were going to get that big influx of swell, but it just didn't happen. And you know what? Michel went to work. He got it done. Came home with the victory. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. And even in those low-scoring affairs, they get really exciting towards the final stages there, and it was a bit of a scrappy one, but Michel was victorious. And we can have a look through what was an amazing run through this contest. I thought Rosie picked up on it. Michel just had a great rhythm throughout the entire event. He had a lot of excellent heat scores, and well, he was actually up against it. Some really tough heats on his road to the final.
Yeah, he kept delivering some big scores too. He had a 9.5 against Felipe. That was one of the better barrels we saw all day. He took down John. That's the monster we were all looking at this entire event, and he's the one that slayed him down.
All kinds of conditions too. We knew that the person that stood on the podium at the end of all of this, Strider, would have had one of the most complete Pipe Masters performances ever, because there was barely a barrel on offer on day one.
Yeah, you know what? He was just absolutely ripping, going fast, big carves. And all the way down to these barrels that he was getting, you know, throughout the day. He's just so impressive. We already know. Look, he's the Spartan. We know he's got game. He's an animal. He can ride the barrel. He can hit the lip. He can, you know, he's just got so much strength in his surfing. And I mean core strength. He's just going to move and go fast, and he's going to make it happen no matter what. And, you know, I'm surprised he's not in there more often.
Yeah, well, it was a tricky year for him. He quarterfinal down at Bells Beach, and other than that, the only thing that kind of kept him towards the top end of the ratings was a whole bunch of ninths. So it was only the second time he actually broke into the finals at a CT event this season, Ross. But he pulled it out when it counted.
Yeah, he's one of those guys on tour, super hard to predict how he's going to do. You know, he came out just a few years ago and got those 2 wins back-to-back in Brazil and West Oz, and all of a sudden he'll get a bunch of 25th. So it's kind of the nature of the tour and how even it is. There's so much talent out there. But when Michel Bourez, when all the magic kind of lines up for him, he's tough to beat.
4 wins on the North Shore too now. That's pretty remarkable. Not too many people can boast that, Strider. That's probably going to be Michel's legacy at the end of his career. To win 4 times on the North Shore and to win at every event in the Triple Crown, that's monster.
That's amazing. It's a huge stat. I mean, look at this guy. He's just loving it. The surfboard looked like it was, you know, in perfect form for him. And I feel like Michel is one of those guys that we're going to start to see kind of start to rise again. I think maybe there's been stuff going on in his life, whatever it was, trying to find that flow. I mean, now we've got a 9th winner on the year, a different surfer that has won another event. It's just crazy. This year has been the ups and downs of all the different surfers. Number 9 now for an event win.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that trend continues into 2017, but Michel Bourez, a very worthy champion, and it's presentation time. We're going to throw it down to Joe Tappel.
Thank you very much, Ronnie, and thanks for everybody watching around the world on WorldSurfLeague.com. What a special day to close out what's been an amazing season on the 2016 Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour. We love to return here to Pipeline to close out the season finale every single year, and this wave keeps on giving with an event with so much history, the best history when you think about your favorite surfers of all time. An event that started off with some amazing names, from Roy Russell to Jerry Lopez, who oftentimes still come here on hand to watch the world's best compete year after year. From the great eras, from the battles with Kelly and Andy, to what we've seen more recently today. This year, a completely different script of winners and champions, and we're so stoked that everyone here on the beach got to join us with the action, and everyone watching at home on WorldSurfLeague.com. Thank you so much. It was amazing just trying to follow the Jeep leaderboard. I'm really impressed with all you guys that did well in Fantasy Surfer this year. We had some new winners at different events that we'd never seen before. Our final today as well. Two guys battling for their first Pipe Masters trophy was really insane to watch. We got to really thank our first ever global partner of the World Surf League, Samsung Galaxy, for making all this possible, Jeep, GoPro, Pacifico, and Workday for all the support. And thank you to our event partners from Billabong to Vans, Turtle Bay Resort, Surfline, and Oceanic Time Warner Cable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yves, brother. Thank you.
I'd also like to introduce and ask you guys to give a warm welcome to Jody Wilmot, the General Manager for WSL Hawaii. Thanks, Jody.
Thanks, Joe. It's an absolute honor for our community to host the world's best surfers here at the home of surfing in Hawaii. We would like to thank all of those fans around the world who have been watching all of these Vans Triple Crown events. And also we'd like to thank WSL's traveling global crew and family who have shared the Stoke with us all year long. A special thank you today to Vans, to the Van Doren family, and to Billabong for sharing decades of friendship and partnership with us here in Hawaii. We couldn't do it without you, and congratulations to all of our champions today. Thank you.
Once again for Jody Wilmot, doing some amazing things here in Hawaii. And we're so happy to be here to join all the celebrations, which all starts before the main event gets started, with one of my favorite events of the whole year, the Pipe Invitational. We get pipeline specialists, we get Hawaiians that qualify through the regional events for a shot to try to upset the world title race. The Pipe Invitational was one that we'll never forget, and especially for a 16-year-old local boy named Finn McGill. Let's now give a big welcome to Finn McGill, the champion of the Pipe Invitational. Also helping me up on stage, we've got Bruce Irons, Lindy Irons, Axel Irons, who turned 6 years old the other day. Also our commissioner, Kieran Perot. That's an amazing trophy. Just like Bruce did before as a 16-year-old, having so much fun, a piping back door. Now you're looking at Hawaii's next generation. Finn, my favorite part, I think, might have been your podium speech when you won the Pipe Invitational, because you couldn't stop laughing. You knew you got a shot in the Invitational. Did you ever dream of taking the whole thing out?
No, not at all. I went into my first heat, didn't even think I was going to make it. So making the final especially was just unbelievable. And I went out there, I think I was late for my final too, still paddling out for it. And just somehow got all the good waves, and yeah.
Going to school at Sunset Beach Elementary across the street, the same school guys like John went to school at, and he's now the world champ. How much did it mean for you to represent Hawaii in the main event?
Yeah, it definitely means a lot. I actually saw 3 of my teachers today that worked at the school too, and they were just grabbing me. It was super cool.
Unbelievable. Finn McGill, congratulations. Can't wait to see him dominate the World Tour very soon. One more time for Finn, taking out the Pipe Invitational. Finn McGill got to represent in the main event, even had a really solid heat against Joel Parkinson, which was insane to watch. Now looking at this event, it's the final stop of the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. All the best surfers in the world called that the best trophy to win, putting it right next to their world titles, being the best at Haleiwa, being the best at Sunset, and also being the best at Pipeline. We'd like to bring up your champion for the Vans Triple Crown in 2016, John Florence. John's done this before, now taking his 3rd title here at the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. All started with a big win at the Hawaiian Pro. In a year that has been incredible. I might have you come on this side, John. Winning the world title, coming in back to your home island here of Oahu, and you started off in unbelievable form to win in a tiebreak at the Hawaiian Pro. How did it feel realizing that you were in a great shot to close out the season in a solid way?
Yeah, I'm super stoked, and winning Haleiwa was awesome, and then I didn't do as well as I would have liked to at Sunset, and just watching the last couple of heats here today was pretty nerve-wracking because it was so close between me and Jordy, and then Kelly is Kelly, and he usually goes on to win things. But I can't believe it. It's been the best year of my life, and I couldn't have done it without my mom, my brothers, and my girlfriend, and Pete Johnson, the family, and Pizels, and the Hurley family. Everyone's just been such a big support to me. And thank you everyone who's been coming down and cheering us on. It's been awesome. It's awesome when you come out of the barrel and hear everyone screaming, so that's a good thing. And thank you.
Well, John, winning the Triple Crown now for the third time in your career, this one as a world champ as well, it kind of defines you as a surfer growing up on the North Shore. I think more often we're seeing you at Pipe and Backdoor, but it appears like you like Haleiwa and Sunset Beach just as much.
Yeah, growing up here, you kind of learn to surf all these waves, and it's all so close. So my first event I've ever surfed was at Haleiwa, so I've been surfing that wave since I was a little kid, and Sunset was one of the first junior events I've won. And yeah, so we just grew up as kids surfing here, and it's been a lot of fun.
Congratulations, John Florence, your Vans Triple Crown of Surfing champion, winning the Hawaiian Pro, finishing the quarterfinals here at Pipe to take this title for the third time in his career and keeping it home here in Hawaii. So a special time here to close out the season once again. Coming into the final of the Pipe Masters, we had some new names appear in the final for the first time in their career. And one man that probably will turn in maybe his best day of his surfing life, Kanoa Igarashi, your runner-up here at the Pipe Masters as a rookie on tour, representing Huntington Beach, California. Kanoa has so many things to be proud of. He actually ended up coming so close to Kaiwa Belly at the end of the day on the Jeep leaderboard. The second most successful rookie this season on tour, making a final at the end of the season. Kanoa, I'm not even sure where to begin with you, with all the highlights that you threw down today. Obviously, you had a lot on the line for yourself, but do you think you have this resolve because you were surfing with a cause to open up that spot for Ezekiel Lau on tour?
Yeah, that was, this is a dream come true, and, I'm just making heats, and I always want to do it for myself, but at the same time, when I'm making heats, I'm helping out my friends at the same time, so, going into the contest, we've been joking around about it and stuff, but it was always in the back of my head, and once I made that semis, I know it opened up that spot and gave me that extra confidence, and I'm stoked I can do it for him, and for myself as well. I'm really proud of myself, and I can't wait for next year.
What moment today are you the most proud of, Kanoa? You beat Kelly Slater, a 7-time Pipe Master. You beat Jordy Smith to move on, and then making the final against Michel Bourez. What's your biggest takeaway?
The one moment that really stands out to me is in the semifinals with Kelly. I kind of wrote the heat off, and he was in his rhythm, and a big set came in, and it kind of closed out everywhere. And I thought that was gonna be my last chance, and a wave didn't really come. And right at the end, this crazy wave out of nowhere came, and I kind of laughed when the wave came in. I was like, wow, is this really gonna happen right now? And I stalled as hard as I could, and then once I came out, it was just like I kind of fell into shock after that. And I was just walking up the beach, and when they said the score, I couldn't really believe it. And I don't know if you guys saw me, but I was just kind of like blank faced because I was shocked, and it never really sunk in. But to be in that final with Michel was really cool, and it'll be a moment that I'll never forget.
What an unbelievable run. Kanoa Igarashi, your runner-up here in the Pipe Masters, as just a rookie on tour, and he'll be dangerous in 2017. And now it's time to introduce your champion of the Billabong Pipe Masters, in loving memory of Andy Irons, coming here by way of Tahiti. Let's introduce your champion, Michel Bourez. Michel Bourez joins a very special class of athletes to have a win in his career at Haleiwa, a win at Sunset, and also now a win at Pipeline. Only 2 other surfers have accomplished that, one Andy Irons and also one named Derek Ho. And now we'll add Michel Bourez to that special list. Bruce Irons to pass the trophy, shaped by Jerry Lopez himself, with beautiful artwork from Phil Roberts. Michel Bourez, what a moment in your career. Can you compare this feeling to anything you've ever had as a pro surfer?
You know what? I feel like it's probably the second best victory I ever had. The first one was in Haleiwa in 2008. You know, I just qualified that year, and then I had that win too, and that feeling was such amazing. But now I had that trophy in the hand. It's probably this one, you know. Might have changed.
Special looking back at the way that you made it into the final. Obviously looking at that quarterfinal matchup against John. Now that you've won this event, how happy are you that you got that matchup early in the quarterfinals?
Well, you know, John is incredible. I lost twice the Triple Crown because of him, you know. So it was kind of like a payback, a little payback. And, you know, he won here again today, but I knew to beat John, I knew I had to push my level a little bit higher. And so that's what I did. Like, usually I come out of the barrel quickly, and then I had to stay longer in the barrel, you know.
Well, Michel, we look back a couple of seasons ago. You had your first couple of wins. You're in a world title race. Then you had a couple of injuries you had to fight back from. How do you credit this success after coming back to form with your physical ability and then to show up and win the Pipe Masters?
Yeah, last year was super tricky for me after that injury. I almost dropped off tour, and you know, my neck still hurts, still till now. But I've been working super hard at home with my coach and our physio, Mark, you know, just to get prepared for that kind of conditions, you know, because you can get hurt super easy out here. But luckily we had like such a good day today. Back door was pumping, and I'm just stoked.
Michel, really impressive to see what you've done at the Triple Crown. Wins at Haleiwa, Sunset, now at Pipeline. Only Derek Coe and Andy Irons have done that in the past. How does that make you feel?
You know what, it's weird because I just talked to Jeremy Flores, and I remember when he won that event, and I came here to congratulate him, and I was so stoked for him, but I was so like, I want to be at his spot, you know. I was you know, like that's the biggest event as a surfer to win, and I did it. Stoked.
Amazing, Michel. What an epic year to finish on top of the final event of the season. Your 2016 Billabong Pipe Master, Michel Bourez. Big round of applause for all of our champions on what's been an incredible year on the World Surf League. Let's now join the rest of the post show with Ronnie Blakey, Ross Williams, and Strider Wasilewski. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Joe. Great job there. And Michel Bourez, Kanoa Igarashi, obviously the two happiest people on the beach. But John Florence getting a little consolation prize there, even though that Pipe Masters win eludes him once again, Ross. It's still a fantastic finish to the season.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got to be so stoked to be able to win, the Eddie, the world title, and the Vans Triple Crown in 1 year. You know, to my knowledge, that's unprecedented.
Amazing. And got to mention Joel Parkinson. He's another surfer that's actually claimed 3 victories, or a number of victories on the North Shore, and won each event in the Vans Triple Crown as well. So Michel Bourez joining a very rare group of competitors there, and now enjoying the spoils and collecting the best trophy in surfing. Amazing, the artwork on that Jerry Lopez surfboard.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just put it away. You look at it, you probably want to ride it, right? I mean, you see that thing, it's made perfectly for Pipeline. You know, those are kind of just gliding in out the back, and it's such a beautiful craft. And to have that moment, just to sit back and realize that you've won a Pipe Masters, you know, going through all those different conditions and what he had to deal with, coming out on top. I mean, he really just put down some incredible rides. Tahiti must be so proud right now. Everybody back in French Polynesia, his wife, the kids, it's just an amazing moment right there. Pipe Masters, it's done and dusted.
It is. It's already such a prestigious title, Ross, but I think the fact that you have Bruce, Lindy, Axel on stage to pass off the trophies there, it makes it extra special for the competitors.
Absolutely. You know, it means so much, and that's one of my favorite things about the Pipe Masters, is it attaches itself to the history of surfing. You know, to be honest, you know, that we could always celebrate that more. When you saw that board that was shaped by Jerry Lopez, it said 46 years. So you think about the very first year the Pipe Masters went down, Dane Kealoha won it. I mean, come on, that's really cool stuff, and that happened right here. So now Michel Bourez, he gets to etch his name in history.
Yeah, the first Tahitian to get that victory too. So we've seen that quite a bit in recent years. A lot of firsts here at the Pipe Masters, but a lot to digest in the WSL post show after an amazing year. And we're going to go back and have a look at John Florence's run through the Triple Crown. Just a fantastic effort, and how he performed at Pipe, typically awesome, but just fell short in the quarterfinals.
Typically awesome. Definitely. I mean, this guy is an animal, and look how loose he feels. And, there was no pressure for him, and I think we were all a little shocked when he actually did bow out to Michel Bourez. But, Michel was in form and in flow, but this guy was getting barreled when there were no barrels. And in this day, guys were just doing big carves on the open face, trying to take to the air, doing lip line floats. And, John finding perfect little barrels.
Just like on the women's side, Ross, Tyler Wright performing so well in the final event of the season. John Florence doing well, even though he didn't get the victory here. But outside of the jersey, Tyler and John also rode probably the most memorable waves for a man and woman all year anyway.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having a world champion like John Florence. He's found that magic, Ronnie, to combine how to compete, like an Eduardo de Souza, who's our, a world champion last year, and then also throw the biggest move of the day. And, that's what's so healthy about our sport right now.
And we're talking about that big alley-oop on one of the off days here at Pipe, executed at backdoor. But John Florence collects his third Triple Crown title now, a victory in 2011, 2013, and his third coming this year.
Old John Florence, it's just amazing to see and feel the energy that comes across how relaxed he is now. And just kind of, how young he is. He's achieved lifelong goals, right? And now he's just going to sit back, revel in it, and then come back twice as strong. Really, what's he got to do to change? Is there anything he does change? He's just on point right now, to the point to where, do you even try to change anything?
2 foot lefts.
Well, he has changed. He's changed in a big way. I think that that Kelly Slater kind of hit the nail on the head. There is some really talented surfers, and it was almost uncool for a period there for John to train. There were some other surfers in the mix who weren't willing to go to the gym, but he changed all that. I think he recognised that talent wasn't going to get him a world title, and he put in the hard yards this year, and it paid off in a big way. The win at Haleiwa is really what helped them wrap this thing up.
And that's the dangerous thing. When you got someone like as talented as John, who actually is trying to be mindful in heats and using tactics on top of his freakish talent, it's, he can win multiple world titles, not just this one. The other key factor, boys, is does he want to, right? That's what makes Kelly Slater such a freak. Every year he wants to suit up to win a world title. That, usually guys get content with a couple world titles and they want to hang it up. So how long will John want to win a world title is the question.
Here's the list of former Triple Crown champs, and it is a pretty impressive list of names, isn't it? A lot of multiple winners on there. John getting his third, joining Joel Parkinson with 3 wins, and they're both chasing Andy Irons with 4 Triple Crown titles. And, well, that's pretty remarkable. Sonny Garcia is still the man when it comes to Triple Crown wins. But John just lapping up the attention here. How was the crowd just roaring when John's name was announced as champion here once again?
He really has been everybody's favorite surfer for a couple of years now. And, like you said, to put it all back together and for him to take it to the next level, become a world champion, it just made you fall even more in love with him, because, you saw how good he was in the free surfs, and you were just like, why can he just put that together? And he did make the change. He did the training. He did the hard yards, and then he encompassed it all. And now we have, got a new relationship with an even better John, and I just can't wait to see more out of him. I just hopefully it just continues to want it, like you said, and continues to want to be a champion and sticks around so we get to see multiples.
Well, the most exciting heat of the event, though, happened in the quarterfinals. Quarterfinal number 4, there was so much on the line. Jordy Smith chasing a Triple Crown win. Kanoa Igarashi on his way to his best ever finish in a Championship Tour event. But it was 2 surfers sitting on the beach that made it really interesting, Nat Young and Ezekiel Lau.
We should have put them on Lazy Boys right on the shoreline. They both had their career on the line. And so, unfortunately for Nat Young, he got bumped down to 23rd, which is crazy, Strider, because, he surfed insane in this event. He got a 9th. You would think, okay, if you're going to get, you told him before this event started, hey, now you're going to get ninth, he would have been, sweet, I'm in. But, you know, Kanoa Igarashi just went to town today.
So many X factors, you know, this being the main one right here. Kanoa threading the needle. I mean, absolute beautiful technique in the barrel, finding his way out. And I mean, just the feeling up at the Quicksilver House at that moment right there when that went down, it was just so cool. And that, it wasn't over yet, right? So then Zeke went running back in the house. Kanoa had more work to do, and he went back out there and stuck to it and then got the 8-point ride to put the nail in the coffin. What a day for this kid, making the finals, 18 years old and just on fire. His parents down on the beach just loving it.
Yeah, Jordy Smith, what a great finish to the year for him. He actually jumped up in a second position on the Jeep leaderboard with his quarterfinal finish here in this contest, so ahead of Gabriel Medina, his second world title runner-up. But the story was Ezekiel Lau getting to take up Kanoa's place via the qualifying series, and he is now going to be competing full-time on the championship tour next year. And lucky for us, Strider Wozzalewski was right there on hand to have a chat to Zeke just after he got that news, and we're going to hear that chat right now.
Sounds like the sound's not working right there.
Well, you can tell us what he said.
Yeah, well, Zeke just said that he did put in the hard yards, and he was super excited to have done that and have it all pay off, and the emotional roller coaster that he went through that day. He was in the house, sitting there on the couch, watching heats. Kanoa got that wave. He came running out with his joyous thing, and everybody going crazy, and then he's all, wait a minute, should I go back in the house? And he ran back in the house just to keep like his vibe and psych just away so that he didn't like throw anything back out there in the water so that maybe Kanoa was looking at the beach. I don't know, but he just ran back in. Everybody told him to get back in the house, and it worked out.
I think at the start of this event, you know, if it was Kelly Slater that was surfing for Zeke's position on the championship tour, you would have been going, yeah, Kelly's got a really good shot at getting this done for you. There's a good chance you'll be on the tour. But Kanoa Igarashi, no pipe experience in the event, no results that we could reflect on. No one really believed it would happen except Kanoa, who was reassuring Zeke the whole time that he had it in him, and he got the job done.
Well, Kanoa Igarashi settled a lot of questions out there. If there's anyone who was wondering, can this kid get it done? You know, I just looking back on that heat with Jordy, remember that first big score he had, you guys? He actually faded, he paddled deep and then faded. And that was a long wall ahead of him. I was so impressed that he didn't just catch that wave and run for the channel. You know, he surfed that wave into a big score. So I got to hand it to Kanoa, dude. You know, he's a bit of a pimp.
We'll have a look at the rookie class for 2017. Some really strong competitors in the mix. We've seen a lot of Leonardo, but Jean Duru, he's had some wild card opportunities. He's a big, powerful kid. Ethan Ewing has a huge future. Everyone talks about this guy having a really similar style to Andy Irons, but Connor O'Leary won the QS Strider, and he is another guy that could do really well, a big, powerful lad.
Searing goofy footer, ready to do battle, and really just puts it down, throws it on the rail, the backhand out of that guy, whipping it, and Bolito taking the win down there. So I love it. I'm stoked on the rookie class. I want to see, I really can't wait for Ethan Ewing actually to step in. You know, he's getting bigger. He's only 18 years old. He's going to put a little bit more weight on, and we're going to see him, you know, with that technique and style that we loved so much, throwing into some rail turns, see what happens.
And Shane Dorian's going to be working with him in Tahiti, Ross. That's pretty exciting.
Good news for Ethan Ewing, you know, because as a rookie, he'll need some of those veteran tips to, you know, just kind of make the right decisions, because we know Ethan Ewing has talent in small waves and big waves. You know, he had that second place finish in 2-foot waves at Huntington. He was really impressive at Haleiwa and Sunset, so he's got a big future on him.
He certainly does. Well, for the second year in a row, we're going to have one of the best rookie classes we've ever seen. We knew it was going to be a great battle for Rookie of the Year honours in 2016. Kaio Abeli was the man that got the job done in the end, and we're going to have a chat to Kaio now.
Well, our Rookie of the Year for 2007 is so deserved. Kanoa Igarashi, you've had an amazing season. You beat John twice back-to-back in contests. You've kept us on our toes throughout the year. Just give us a recap of your year.
Yeah, my year was really amazing. Starting on the Gold Coast, like I had kind of like a shocker in the first round, and like I couldn't figure out that the first wave wasn't good. And yeah, I managed to get 2 nines and 1 fit on the Australian leg, which was really strong for me. I got out of Australia in 5th place, which was great. I even screenshot a couple times a picture of the ranking, and yeah, it was super sick. And I had a lot of fun this year, and like I really wish I could do better. Like here in Pipe and Fiji and Tahiti, places that I was looking for a lot to go to, and yeah, but I learned a lot. It was a really good experience. Like I try to absorb everything, every information I could, and just surfing against my idols, and it was really great. And yeah, it was really good. That's, I think, the Rookie of the Year. It feels like it's all the rookies' main objective. Like that's what our goal. Like we wanna, when we are a rookie, like we wanna come and qualify first and get the Rookie of the Year. It's like consequence of like doing a good job, and like at the end Connor almost got it. I was like, I would be stoked if he got it. Like he surfed really well yesterday in Portugal and had a really good events, and I'm just like super stoked to get this Rookie of the Year, and it was a good year overall. Like I had a lot of fun, and all the boys put up a good show, Connors too, and everyone was surfing super good.
And you just mentioned Connor. I mean, it was such an exciting race for all the rookies and such a great class this whole season. But just tell us, you know, where were you and how did you find out about the Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I wasn't really like, I just wanted to relax. I didn't want to look for, be like cheering like for people to make it or whatever. Like I was just trying to do my thing, and I got cut right after my heat. I got 3 stitches in my hand, and I went surfing off the one. I ended up breaking my board and getting the board in my hand. So I was watching Alyssa surfing, and all of a sudden I got a text from Nato, can you come here for an interview? And I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm not on the beach. Like, I can get there in the next 10 minutes. And yeah, he's like, oh, I think you're just Rookie of the Year just now. And I'm like, no way. And when I saw the heat, like, Connor was super close to get the score, and everything just worked out. And when it's meant to be, like, it's meant to be. And I thank God for being Rookie of the Year. Such a selective names on the Rookie of the Year, and like I'm so glad to put my name there, and hope I can stay on tour for the next 10, 12 years.
Hey, you've been incredible to watch. Congratulations. Rookie of the Year is something you can achieve once in your career, so well done. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Rosie, and we'll see where Kaio finished up on the leaderboard. Let's bring it up because we knew John Florence was solid in first position, already stitching up that world title, but we did see quite a bit of movement. Geordie Smith made a very positive move up the ratings, leapfrogging Gabriel Medina to finish runner-up to the world title.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive right there. The big fella, Geordie, you know, he had a crazy year. And again, you look at that top 10, how healthy is surfing right now. You have a real good mixed bag of different styles, different techniques, small waves, big waves. You have a little bit of everything there.
Yeah, you know, interesting. Last year, you know, Brazil was right there, you know, dominating the top spaces, and now you come into this year and things have changed a little bit, but you do have the Rookie of the Year with Kaio, so, you know, I think we're going to see them battle back really hard next year and really come for some blood.
Connor Coffin was just one heat win away from getting ahead of Kaio and taking that title, but interesting to note there, Mick Fanning with 5 events managed to keep his place on the championship tour, equaling Connor Coffin for 17th position. Stu Kennedy, that injury didn't affect him in the end. He kept his place on tour. It was a pretty amazing fight from those surfers down the back end in the final contest.
It's the cool thing about, well, that's the one good thing about John winning the title early. You know, it's a bit of a buzzkill, but the cool thing is there's the Rookie of the Year, who's going to make the top 22. That was a lot of drama for your mama. From Haleiwa to Sunset, there was a lot of bubble talk.
That's right.
We were out in the water, and Joel Parkinson paddled over after his heat. He was obviously upset with losing, and he looks over, and I said, well, now, you know, Kelly Slater's announced that he's going to go for a world title. And he's like, yeah, well, so are me and Mick Fanning. And we're going to place, I don't care if it's 18, 19, and 20, but we're going to beat Kelly Slater. It was pretty funny.
Well, down the back end of the ratings too was, classic. Down the back end of the ratings, there was actually some huge stories. We said goodbye to some veterans. Kai Otten was a big one. Kai, he's had some magic moments as a championship tour competitor over the years, and he's already said he's not going to chase the QS next year. But we will see him in Fiji in a coaching capacity. Joel Parkinson's going to take him over there, and I don't know what kind of result Joel's going to fetch from that event, but Joel said if he wins the contest, he'll keep Kai on as a coach for the rest of the season.
That just made every single person cheer for Joel Parkinson in that event, because it'd be rad to have Kai Otten for the rest of the year as a coach.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Otts is one of those characters. I think coaching is all about headspace, right? And he's one of those guys that's going to keep you in a good headspace. He knows how to separate the competition, and your head and keep you on a kind of a different place and keep you going forward positive.
He wasn't the only surfer that we said goodbye to either, Strider. One of the real interesting stories was Keanu Assin getting a victory and still not making the grade. He was so close.
The sting, I mean, it was in his post-heat interview. It hurt me watching it.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, he's going to have to bounce back, and same with Nat Young. If he doesn't get an injury replacement wild card, he's going to have to battle on the QS Tour. There's those 5 QS 10,000s. So, I mean, the good news for them, at least they don't have to do double duty. They can kind of focus on those big events. But, they were banking on being here.
Yeah, Adam Melling, Davey Cathels, a couple of other surfers dropping out of the mix. So, as many positive stories are coming out of this event. There's some pretty sad ones too. But the good news is there's always next year in the qualifying series. Okay, moving on. B. Durbidge, what about his return? That's something worth celebrating.
That was crazy. B. Durbidge, for him to get healthy in basically 10 months after breaking his pelvis, you would have thought, there was a good chance people were talking he'll never come back again to competitive surfing. So he definitely silenced the critics. And, I know he didn't look 100%, but I think he's going to be ready to rock in March.
We'll get back into that in just a moment. Let's look at the schedule for next year. It is going to be such an intense race, but more of the same. Locations, hoping for some really good conditions in 2017. We got gypped a little bit at some of the stops on the tour.
Yeah, it was hard at some of those stops, but you know what? I feel like it's going to be a great year. I feel like the schedule is in position to have all of those windows, have great waves, great conditions, and I cannot wait to watch this thing go around again. It's going to be so fun.
Down days at J-Bay are going to be good. Corona getting on board, sponsoring that event. That'll be fun.
It's going to be good. To your point though, Ronnie, it wasn't the best year for all time for forecasts. We had a lot of events where we had to really kind of struggle through it and had some mediocre days, but you know what that means. Every other heat's good with the contest. Every other year is going to be good, so 2017 is going to be cranking.
We touched on B just a moment ago. He had one of the more interesting heats of the event. He came up against John Florence, who he'd been coaching through certain events in the season, but everyone was pretty blown away at how quick B bounced back, Strider.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's got so much hardware. He's got a plate back there holding him together, literally splitting him almost in half. I mean, the guy is amazing to come back to actually compete again. We kind of knew he'd be able to surf again, but whether he'd be at this level was just crazy. I saw him just tearing the bag out of it. I mean, the guy was out of control how good he was surfing. So he's excited. He's pumped up.
Ross, you tracked his run through the entire Triple Crown. Even his first wave was super impressive.
Yeah, B. Durbidge came out of the gates. His very first wave back in competition was a 7.17, and it was just that classic B. Durbidge smooth hack. So right away we're like, okay, now not only does the guy look fit, but he's surfing on point. So, and just think, I feel like he's about 80% right now. When the Gold Coast rolls around, I think he'll be 100%.
Yeah. No, definitely. I was super impressed. And there was a couple of scary moments too where he was looking comfortable out in that lineup and backdoor, a couple of lips to the head and some freaky moments for his family as well, who this time last year were in a bad way.
You got to think, there's all that mental stuff you got to get over, those hurdles you got to get through to go back out there. I mean, the wave is a hurdle in itself. And then you come back off an injury like that, he said he wouldn't wish it on anybody. I mean, the pain is still there, right? So you paddle out and you're just going through all that in your mind, and then you got to deal with the wave itself. So hats off, Bede. Nice work getting back into the saddle, riding off into the sunset, and we'll see him next year.
We're then wrapping up the 2017 season, Ross. We know it's going to be one of the best world title battles ever. Kelly staking his claim, making it clear that he's going to really commit to a world title. And to be honest, he hasn't actually been that committed to the tour for a number of years, so that's a super big call from him. Can he get the job done?
I think he can. He really can. And I'm not just saying that, but here's the thing. Kelly's going to have to be perfect in Fiji, Tahiti. I would say J-Bay is one of his pet events as well. But the big hollow waves, it's no secret. That's the events where he's kind of still the man. So if he wins a world title, he's going to have to get wins at those places.
What do you think, Strider? What's your prediction for the world title next year? Who's going to get it?
He can do it, but he's got to get inspired at those smaller waves. He says that the good waves inspire him to do well, right? But you can't think that way going into this year. If he's going to really go after a world title, he's going to have to stay inspired through the bad stuff, for whatever, Brazil, everywhere. He's going to have to push through and just keep on a good foot through those legs.
Definitely. one person that's been missing from the broadcast, missing in a big way, he's a huge presence here on the North Shore, is Pete Mel, the Big Wave Commissioner. He darted over to Portugal just the other day, and he's got an update for us on the Big Wave Challenge event over there at Nazaré.
Welcome to Nazaré. We're here in Portugal, coming from Hawaii, just a couple plane rides, and we're here. Can't wait to watch the action from the Nazaré Challenge. The waves are going to be 40, 50, maybe 60 feet. Tune in right after Pipeline Masters at worldsurfleague.com.
Well, in just around 5 hours' time, that event is going to kick off on worldsurfleague.com. It's one of the most anticipated events on the Big Wave Tour schedule. It's just a freaky wave. We went there the other year, boys, and watched it, and it was an empty lineup. We almost got washed off the cliff.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's challenging. It has two different faces. It's got that traditional huge, giant mongrel of an A-frame, and then if it's a little smaller, which hopefully it is because the wave's so dangerous, it moves over to the right where it's like a beach break. So it's going to be crazy. You know, all the boys are going to huck themselves.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be smaller. I think it's going to be terrifying. I think it's going to be one of those things that you're just not going to be able to pull yourself away from. The way that water moves, you know, the wave comes in, hits that big deep channel, 1,000-foot channel, and then refracts back at itself. So you've got two waves converging at one point, doubling the speed of the wave, sending it straight up, and you have to try to be in the right spot out in the middle of the ocean. I mean, the playing field is so massive. Then when you get a wave, kicking out, if you make it, is the most horrifying thing in the world. You're looking out at another 50 to 60-foot wave coming at you, and you're just going to have to take it on the head.
Sounds like it's going to be a good show to watch. But gentlemen, just some final thoughts on what has been a pretty remarkable season. Strider, you were really blown out about just how many different winners we saw this year, and some people at the back end of the ratings getting some really big breakthrough moments.
Yeah, you know, I just like how deep the bench is, so to speak. You know, all these guys work so hard to get on this tour. They put all the work in, and for so many different guys to win events this year just shows you how well all these guys surf. And the fact that each and every guy had that moment, it gives everybody else on tour that same hope and that same feeling to come back for next year. I mean, everybody's so fired up right now for the new year. I could just feel it. That's what I love about this game right now, is that we're all going to come back all as hyped up as ever after this year going by.
Thank you, Strider. Ross, you got anything to add to that?
I think we're running out of time, but no, I think it's just been an amazing year, and again, I like the mix between the veterans next year that are all fired up and rejuvenated, and then you got the grommets like Kanoa Igarashi and the rookie class. There's a good confrontation brewing for 2017.
It's going to be massive. We can't wait for it to kick off. We want to say a big thank you to all of you for watching from our entire broadcast team. Make sure you stay tuned to worldsurfleague.com for the next big tour event, and have a fantastic Christmas. We'll see you in the new year on the Gold Coast when we get the new season underway. Take it easy.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.
Welcome to the final day on the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour. To start things off, Jordy Smith under the hook, gets spat out. What a way to kick off the last day of the year.
Lohe on his first attempt pulls into the back door, driving deep, still traveling. Can he come out? Yes, he does.
That was just insane.
Well, is this the opportunity that Toledo was looking for? He swings on it. Here he goes. Deep, traveling. Can he make the exit? Yes, he does.
Straight across the board, perfect hands.
Bourez on the answer back.
Here goes Michel. He's tucking in. He's traveling. He's disappeared. Still going. Pumping. Traveling in the barrel. He comes out.
Michel Bourez answers back to move on to the quarterfinals.
Backdoor barrel spin out. Going for the double barrel.
What a comeback from Jordy Smith.
He got that wave under priority, and Nat's got to be kicking himself.
It is quarterfinal 1 of the Billabong Pipe Masters.
Michel Bourez takes out the world champ with solid scores of backdoor.
Kanoa Igarashi 1 heat away from getting his buddy on tour with a double qualifying run.
Zeke Lau is joining the CT in 2017. He's got a semi-final coming up. He's going to be taking on Kelly Slater.
With priority, he's going to make a move. The rookie needs an 8-3-3 to create a huge upset. He stalls super deep at backdoor. How many times can this rookie do it under pressure? Michel now under priority will pull in. What a feeling for the Tahitian. Michel Bourez, your 2016 Billabong Pipe Master.